how great it is that we got this footage. How amazing it is that these reporters are being honest. They're being honest and saying this is different. And why is it different? Because these are white people. I actually saw some Ukrainian folks being interviewed.
As 36-year-old Daria tells us.
It's like you wake up in a totally new reality at 5 a.m. and you find out that the world is no longer the safe place you imagine. We are an independent country, Ukraine, and we are totally not same as Russians. And we don't want to be a part of Russia or any other country.
A metro station full of people going to and from work. Today, it has become a de facto bomb shelter, and there are just hundreds and hundreds of people who have descended on this place, fearful for their lives and uncertain of what the future will bring.
Wow, I've never seen this. I've never seen us care about people that were invaded before. It's a novel idea, it's a new idea. I think it should be done more often. My thing is, why is it only being done now? Now, I already know why. I already know why now suddenly we care about the people that are being invaded. Because it's not us the only invading. That's part of it anyway. The other part of it is, well, the people that are being invaded are white.
15,000 people were coming into Poland in just the last 24 hours. When you look at what happened in the last refugee crisis in Europe back in 2015, Poland was one of the EU countries that, was hesitant to take in refugees. Talk about what has changed and the different position now.
Yeah, well, just to put it bluntly, these are not refugees from Syria. These are refugees from neighboring Ukraine. And that, quite frankly, is part of it. These are Christians, they're white, they're very similar to people who live in Poland.
15,000 people.
Me, I'm sorry, it's very emotional for me because I see European people with blue eyes and blonde hair being killed, children being killed every day with Putin's missiles and his helicopters and his rockets.
And so, of course, I understand and respect the emotion.
As you're talking to us, Matthew, we're playing in the latest pictures of some of the refugees trying to get on trains or trying to get out of Ukraine. And what's compelling is just looking at them, the way they're dressed. These are prosperous, I'm loath to use the expression, these are prosperous middle-class people. These are not obviously refugees trying to get away from areas in the Middle East that are still in a big state of war. These are not people trying to get away from areas in North Africa. They look like any European family that you would live next door to.
Fuck off.
Now the unthinkable has happened to them. And this is not a developing third world nation. This is Europe.
It's Robert Moore here in the studio.
Now the unthinkable has happened to them. And this is not a developing third world nation. This is Europe.
There's this running statement that I hear on Twitter all the time. It's when you say the quiet parts out loud. That's what they're doing, Johnson. They're saying the quiet parts out loud. They're saying what's in their head because they're emotional. Because they care about those fellow white people that they see. One of the reporters just blatantly said it. These people look like me. Pardon me if I'm emotional, but these people look like me. White, blue-eyed Christians. White, blue-eyed people. Very, very honest. I want to applaud their honesty. Yeah, at least they're honest. My biggest barrier here in America, because I've do this show for a decade now, is trying to make people be honest with themselves, let alone be honest with others. Yeah, I don't like what they were saying to me. Obviously, it's racist as fuck. But at least they're real. Tell you exactly how they feel. What's different about this? Nothing. We see it all the time. Basically, this would not be a fucking story if it weren't for the fact that these are white people. We're so used to seeing this. We see this all the time in African countries and Middle Eastern countries. But see it in a white country, oh my God. The biggest hurdle that I face when we do this show as we uncover issues like this, is getting people to admit realities. And if we could just admit realities, if we could just admit, man, if I could just have a Blue Lives Matter person admit what these reporters are admitting, that it's a difference when you see a white person laid out on the ground. Stop using those stereotypes that you put on me as a justification for all the evil shit that you do, or that your government has done. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. How great it is that we got this footage. How amazing it is that these reporters are being honest. And that shoving smoke up our asses and telling us, it's something different. This is, they're being honest and saying this is different. And why is it different? Because these are white people. And it's strange to see white people running. We're used to the brown people running. We're used to the blacks running. But now we have white people running. It was frustrating. But now I'm not going to read their comments. Of the people that don't understand how race plays a role in this, they don't get it, that's fine. My job is to point the information out there. You don't have to get it. You don't have to admit that it's 1:28 in the morning here in the East Coast, but it is 1:28 in the East Coast. You don't have to admit that. You can tell me it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Does not matter. I know what time I gave you, and I know it was the right time. It's up to you to accept it. So, another one of the issues that have been rising is, well, there are a lot of African students in the area, in Ukraine, for instance, who are trying to get out because they're not Ukrainians. They're not going to fight a war for you. This is not their country, and they're not there to fight. They went there to go to school. And just like a lot of other Ukrainians, they're trying to leave, but they're having a little bit of a problem. They're black.
Now the unthinkable has happened to them. And this is not a developing third world nation. This is Europe.
They're pushing her, they're not letting her go, they're not letting her go. Is it right? Is it right? They're not letting the black girl go. 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 The black girl go, they're pushing her, they're not letting her go, they're not letting her go. Is it right? Black girl go, they're pushing.
What happened yesterday here in Lviv?
Well, we tried to get into the train to get to a border, like to a European country, probably Poland, or in fact the countries that open borders for people going out, running from the war. But they were prioritizing, I won't say white, let's say other people to Africans, to black-skinned people. I don't know why, but it just happened. And we've been out like 3 days, 5 days waiting for means of transport to go out, but it's still the same thing happening.
We don't have Pablo, we are students. We are dying. We are dying of cold. We are dying of cold. We are dying of cold. Everybody go down. Everybody go down. We are dying of cold. We've been here for 3 days. We died of cold. This is unfair. This is unfair. Why point gun as foreigners? Why point gun as us? Why point gun on us? You have to find the rest of your money. Please, go online on Instagram. We don't have arms. We don't have guns. We are students. We are students. Gun on us. What the fuck is happening? What? We don't run. We don't have arms. We got nothing. We don't have arms. We have nothing. We are students. 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 What's up? We are students. We are students. You don't understand, but you're not black, so you cannot solve. Dude, they can't shoot us off. Thank you. Thank you.
So the Polish government was pushing back, saying it's not true. Poland condemns fake news that is turning away non-white people fleeing Ukraine. Now, one of the clips that we saw just now were black folks, or African folks, I should say, African folks, students, having a problem getting out of Ukraine. They were trying to get on trains. I've seen video of African students trying to get out of Ukraine and having a problem being prioritized to get on the train so they can't leave Ukraine. Then we have also video of Africans reported, you heard people report that they've been stuck for 3 days trying to cross over into Poland. So, according to this report, large numbers have entered Poland. We're talking about 200,000 people have fled. That was just since Thursday. Many have struggled to cross with reports of queues stretching kilometers on the Ukrainian side of the border. Among those are some third country nationals living in Ukraine, including students from Africa. It's important to note it's not just Africans having problems leaving. There's also some Arabs. I think they were labeled as Indians, who also have the problem getting into like Poland, for instance. One video, which is the one I just showed you, has been watched over 2 million times on Twitter, shows a group of African students in a confrontation with officials who appear to be refusing to let them pass. Some descriptions attached to the video suggest they are Polish officers, though in fact they say those are Ukrainians. These are Ukrainians who won't let them leave the country. Meanwhile, even the Nigerian president's spokesman has said it's been the Polish guards and Polish soldiers who won't let them into Poland. They said that it was Ukrainian soldiers rather than Polish border guards turning them away. Photographs on the Polish side of the border show that a number of people of color have crossed from Ukraine. Detach themselves from it and accept what you see without making excuses. Look at it for what it is. Realize that this is the world. And this is the way the world conducts itself. These are the way it operates. And it's not personal to you, but it'd be a good idea to accept reality. Because while you deny reality, while you deny it, others live it. When you got a bunch of reporters admitting the truth, makes you wonder why we can't get that in America. I mean, at least we could do is be honest.
Me, I'm sorry. It's very emotional for me because I see European people with blue eyes and blonde hair being killed.
Be honest about the coverage. Be honest about what's expected, what's accepted. That's it. Be honest about what's accepted as normal. Those reporters around the globe just told you. All those Western reporters all over Europe and the UK, it shows you why. Yeah, this is not strange to a lot of you. A lot of people watching, you know this stuff already, like Tim told us something we don't know. But remember, I don't just do the show for people that know. I do the show for those that need to know. I do the shows for people that deny it as well.
This isn't a place, with all due respect, like Iraq or Afghanistan, that has seen conflict raging for decades. This is a relatively civilized, relatively European, I have to choose those words carefully too, city where you wouldn't expect that or hope that it's going to happen.